Welcome to this special episode of our Inclusive Plug videocast powered by RECONOMY. What you're about to watch was originally filmed for nZEB Days Chișinău 2025, an event organized in Moldova focusing on accelerating the transition toward nearly zero energy buildings in Moldova and the Eastern Partnership countries and beyond. We are honored to feature a conversation with Janez Kopač, one of the foremost voices of Southeast Europe in energy policy and sustainability. Let's dive in. We are honored to welcome Janez Kopač to nZEB Days Chișinău 2025. With over 30 years of high-level experience working with EU directorates, delegations, national ministries, and state agencies, Janez Kopač has been a driving force behind energy transition efforts across Southeast Europe. As the former director of the Energy Community Secretariat and Minister of Environment and Energy of Slovenia, and currently serving as Commissioner in the Slovenian National Regulatory Authority, he has played a pivotal role in shaping regional energy policy and promoting sustainable building standards. Janez Kopač brings a wealth of insight into accelerating the implementation of EU energy directives, including advancing toward nearly zero energy buildings. His extensive work in policy development, implementation support, and cross-border collaboration makes him a key voice to bring insights on implementing nZEB as a standard for sustainable building and improved living. Janez Kopač, thank you for joining.
Thanks for inviting me, and greetings to everybody.
Based on your experience with the energy community, what have been the most significant barriers and enablers to implementing nZEB standards in Eastern Partnership and Western Balkan countries? And what really specific lessons could Moldova draw as it works toward aligning its building regulations with EU directives?
Energy Performance of Buildings Directive, as it is relevant currently for energy community contracting parties, Moldova is one of them, is an old one from 2010, slightly adapted with some amendments from 2018, but in European Union now they have completely new, quite substantially upgraded Energy Performance of Buildings Directive from 2024, which is part of the Green Deal. That one is not part of Energy Community acquis, but what's important for all EU accession countries, and Moldova is one of them, this is a must now. So we shall forget about acquis in the energy community, which somehow was helpful. We shall orient towards EU acquis, at least talking about Moldova as accession country. In energy community, only few countries introduced nearly zero emission building standard. Among them are Kosovo, Moldova, Ukraine. Albania is in phase of a draft law now. Serbia adopted a nearly zero emission building plan for public buildings, but did not adopt a law. And no secondary legislation which would prescribe the requests for such buildings. So not much to show in energy community, unfortunately. Reasons are several. First, nearly zero energy emission nearly zero emission buildings are more expensive because they're more challenging, more complex. Second is that the capability of administration in Southeastern Europe, European countries is relatively weak. For this concept, you need to have a quite advanced quite knowledgeable public officials, and of course also supporting infrastructure, some national institutes, well aware and advanced NGOs, industry behind you. So this is all, let's say, not absent, but weak in Southeastern Europe and in Eastern Partnership countries. And I believe this is the main barrier. Another one is, I mean, this was similar in European Union as well. Not all European Union member states are so advanced as we would expect in nearly zero emission buildings. There are some differences even in definitions across European Union, but with the latest directive from 2024, this is now relatively streamlined, just didn't enter into force yet. So barriers are several: knowledge, administrative capacity, money. There are no good lessons from energy community really to be copied. There are good lessons from European Union to be followed, and Moldova as accession country, I hope, will follow those cases, successful cases.
Thank you. And effective compliance with nZEB standards depends on strong coordination among government, private sector, civil society actors. What collaboration models have worked in other energy community countries? And how could Moldova mobilize similar multi-stakeholder approach for long-term success?
In the whole energy community, I see only one successful model. I would say it's Ukraine. And of course, Ukraine, despite not being financially strong, at least has a lot of domestic knowledge. I mean, in institutes, in general, academia is quite developed, quite well aware. And there are several companies which are interested in promotion of upgraded standards because they see a business opportunity for them to sell this on the market. More isolated windows, better isolation for facades, of course, also equipment for renewables being installed on buildings. And yes, this is the only model, let's say, to be copied. But of course, the first step is what the state prescribes, because if there is no legal obligation, then no lobbying, no promotion will help much, because very many stakeholders resist introduction of nearly zero emission buildings because this costs. It costs, of course, in the time of investment, but it brings several benefits on a longer run, and countries should be, of course, interested on longer run, not only on results which can be shown next day or next month or next year.
And why do you think policies like the nZEB standard matter, not just for meeting climate goals, but also for shaping the future of how we live and build in the region?
As I mentioned, nearly zero emission buildings are first, they're the future, at least in European Union. That's so I would say a must. And why? It is because energy efficient buildings consume approximately 40% of all our energy, which we use for industrial processes, transport, everything. And savings in this sector can be the biggest among everything. And if Europe wants, and it wants, to be energy independent, not to rely on import of fossil fuels, and for Moldova, this is particularly relevant because Moldova is so much import dependent, or for gas or for electricity. Then the only case where you can make a big step forward is to get rid of major losses of energy in household sector. And this is where majority of countries, but particularly Moldova, can do, as I said, the biggest step forward. It's also related with the quality of living, because nearly zero emission buildings combined with other standards from Energy Performance of Buildings Directive are also offering the healthiest environment for living. And this has, of course, all long-term positive consequences. The population is healthier, energy consumption is much lower, and mostly comes from renewable energy sources, what is good not only for people, but also for national economy.
And as the energy sector advances toward a green transition, what role can women play in driving the implementation of green building and energy efficiency policies and practices? And what actions should governments and institutions take to foster their leadership and meaningful participation?
Okay, it's not particularly gender related sector, but everybody can play its role in it. For women, I would say particularly important is their role as decision makers, because usually in households, women are, despite men usually show themselves as more powerful or more, bigger decision makers. Usually it is on women to decide on renovation, on buying something new in the household. So it's important to have also knowledge among them, and so spreading knowledge and promoting things, I think, can help very much. I would just mention one action which we can see in some EU member states. They have a female engineer of the year, which is usually an engineer from which is dealing with energy efficiency in buildings. And then, of course, once per year, such a selected lady engineer has then a lot of promotion and a lot of spreading of knowledge and awareness around that. I think that women need also, I would say, their heroes, and to be equipped with more knowledge and more awareness, being decision makers about the renovation of households.
Janez Kopač, thank you very much indeed.
Thanks to you, and greetings to everybody.